In today's video, MUALANI, Guide of Natlan and expert in all forms of wave chasing. MUALANI is a 5-star hydro character, catalyst wielder, nuke DPS in wave teams. In this video you'll find tips, science explanations, artifact sets, weapons and more, so keep watching if you want to have the best MUALANI in Genshin. Join me in Discord server if you want to make friends and play Genshin or other games, you're more than welcome to join, and without further ado, this is MUALANI's character investment and let's jump right into her active talents. With a normal attack, she performs up to 3 attacks that deal hydro damage, but we can pass this since she doesn't actually use them to fight, so let's go ahead with her elemental skill, the center of her entire kit. When using this skill, MUALANI will gain 16 ISO points and will enter the Nice Blessing state. In this state, MUALANI serves on her Sharky that grants MUALANI movement speed and resistance to interruption increased. Also, this state will convert normal attacks into Sharky's bites, dealing hydro damage based on MUALANI's max HP with the Nice attribute. Sharky's bites are considered normal attack damage. When MUALANI makes contact with opponent, she will mark them gaining 1 stack of wave momentum with 3 stacks max. So when she uses a normal attack, Sharky will bite the opponent, increasing her damage and clearing all the stacks. Also, when Sharky bites an opponent marked before the mark is removed, MUALANI will fire Sharky missiles at up to 5 nearby opponents marked as prey, dealing damage to them equal to this Sharky's bite distance and clearing their marks. So she's good against bosses and multiple opponents. Lastly, the burst, which simply fires a super shark missile that deals hydro damage based on MUALANI's max HP. So the level priority is skill, burst and last normal attack. Let's have a look at the passive talents now. With the first one, MUALANI recovers 29 soul points when she collects a puffer that Sharky creates when hitting an opponent. This puffer can be created 2 times for each Night Soul Blessing state, so long story short, you can do it twice per elemental skill. Pretty good talent since it allows MUALANI to have her state lasting longer, which means more damage. The second passive talent makes her burst stronger based on how many characters triggered a Night Soul burst. This talent can work well only if you have 3 Natlan characters in the team, since you would be able to trigger a Night Soul burst every 9 seconds. If you have Shilonen in the team, this effect stacks even better. The third is the usual talent for exploration in Natlan. In her case, she consumes less Night Soul points and phlogiston when moving on water or liquid phlogiston. And with the last passive talent, you can recover phlogiston when collecting versatile items, and MUALANI will also mark them on the minimap, so pretty useful. So for the rotation, use all the supports before MUALANI. They will stack her 3 wave stacks before performing a normal attack with Sharky. After she leaves the Nice Blessing state, you can end the rotation with her burst, consuming her 3 wave chaser stacks and start again. Now that we had a look at the entire kit, is MUALANI Queen or Queen? MUALANI is a great DPS with a lot of pros by her side. She's fun and easy to play, deals a lot of damage, and it's really easy to build. Besides that, I just wanted to highlight a few unpleasant situations you might encounter with her. The first is that the enemy might dodge Sharky's bite, which is pretty annoying since Sharky consumes the 3 stacks before hitting the opponent, so you don't even have a second chance to bite again, and it's also pretty frequent as a situation. And the other one is when the enemy moves while MUALANI is in her state, since her piece rotation will pretty much be gone since MUALANI's Nice Blessing state doesn't last much if she's on the ground, and you might consume it by trying to catch up with the enemy. But don't let this stop you from pulling or playing her because she's a great character, or better, MUALANI is a queen. So let's have a look at her build options. So for artifacts options, for 2-piece she can use 2-piece HP, Tenacity of the Middle Leaf and Vorokasha's Glow, 2-piece hydro damage bonus, Art of Death and Eve Stream, 2-piece normal attack damage bonus, Malicious Hunter, and 2-piece EM, Wanderer's Troop, Gilded Dreams and Flower Paradise Lost, but it's better to have it from the substats. For 4-piece she can use Obsidian Codex, which increases her general damage with the 2-piece effect, and the 4-piece gives MUALANI 40% crit rate bonus when she consumes Night Soul points, which she can do with no effort, and also this set makes her have 64% of crit rate with no substats, so pretty good. Heart of Death, which gives her hydro damage bonus and increases normal attack and charge attack damage by 30% just by using an elemental skill. Main stats are HP on the sand, hydro damage bonus on the goblet and crit damage on the circlet, and substats are crit damage, HP, EM, and crit rate. Before we uncover weapons options, the majority of the viewers are not subscribed, so subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and make sure to activate the notifications to not miss out any future guides of your favorite characters. Let's have a look at the weapons options now. First option is Surf's Up, definitely the greatest on her, gives a lot of crit damage and increases normal attack damage, the damage you deal with Sharky's bite. Triggering Vape makes the effect last longer, so it's pretty vertical but really great for MUALANI's performances. Too Late to Last Remembers, which gives a lot of crit damage. The effect is basically the same of her signature weapon and she can activate it pretty easily. Tome of the Eternal Flow, just for the crit damage and the HP increase with the effect, since the rest of it is useless for MUALANI. In case you don't have Obsidian Codex on her, you can go with Cash Flow Supervision, which gives crit rate and the effect increases normal attack damage by unit Furina in the team, or Lost Prayer, which gives her crit rate and the effect grants a little buff in elemental damage. For first as options we have Ring of Yaksha, which gives HP percentage, and the effect is really made for MUALANI since she can have her normal attack damage increase for every 1000 HP she has. This weapon is craftable, so it can become even better by ranking it up. Mapamara for more vape damage since we get EM and elemental damage with the effect, perfect for the teams we play her on. Sacrificial Jade for crit rate if you don't have obsidian. The effect gives a bonus in HP and elemental mastery, which is pretty good for her. Black Cliff Agate just for crit damage since the effect doesn't exist for her, and the Witsit that gives a high percentage of crit damage, but the effect is pretty unpredictable. So for MUALANI's ideal build, you should aim to have 30k or more of HP, 100-150 of EM for vape, try to go with 90% of crit rate and as much crit damage as you can. Lastly, give her 140% of energy recharge if she's the only Hydra character in the team, and for elemental damage bonus, you can decide to give it to her from the goblet or from another character in the team with scroll like Shilonen. Let's have a quick look at the constellation before team comps, just to know what they do in case you're interested. With the first one, the damage dealt by Sharky's first bite and Shark missiles is increased by 66% of MUALANI's max HP. Additionally, MUALANI Nitro points and phlogiston consumption are decreased if MUALANI is not in combat. So between her first constellation and her signature weapon, I think the weapon is better since it's way better than other options and also helps you with the build, not considering that the buff in damage of the first constellation counts only for the first instance of damage. With the second one, MUALANI will gain 2 stacks of the skill when she enters the Nitro Blazing state and 1 stack if she obtains a buffer, so you can almost instantly deal damage to an opponent when you enter the Nitro Blazing state. And additionally, when MUALANI obtains 2 buffers, she will restore 12 Nitro points within 2 seconds. The third increases the level of the skill by 3. With the fourth, MUALANI regenerates 8 energies when obtaining a buffer. In this way you can obtain a total of 16 energy. Additionally, her burst deals more damage, so pretty solid constellation. The fifth increases the level of the burst by 3, and with the last one, the effect of the first constellation will always happen, so you will always have your damage increased by 66% of MUALANI's max HP. Now for team comps, she can play with Pyro, Dendro, Anemo, and Geo characters, and with Cryo or other Hydro characters if they don't apply their element, since MUALANI needs to be the one triggering vape or else her damage will be really lower. So first option is with MUALANI, Nahida, Shilonen, and Mawika. In this case, Nahida and Mawika will lead opponents to be constantly afflicted by Pyro, Nahida buffs in EM and Mawika in general damage, Shilonen heals, buffs in elemental damage, and debuffs opponents' elemental resistance, to Hydra and Pyro mainly, so MUALANI can deal a lot of damage and trigger vape with no problems. You can replace Mawika with Toma, the Pyro Traveler, or Shanling, and for Nahida and Shilonen you can go with Kazuha and Yao Yao. Kazuha can be replaced in turn by Sakros, Lynette, and Lanyang. Second option is a burning team with MUALANI, Emily, Baiju, and Mawika. In this case, Emily and Baiju activates the Danger Resonance, which increases EM. If you don't have Nahida in the team, it's a good alternative. Third option is a freeze team with MUALANI, Kazuha, Escoffier, and Furina. In this case, MUALANI deals less damage than when she is on a vape team, so Escoffier and Furina are really useful to increase the general damage of the team. Every character in this team grants buff, except for MUALANI of course. You have Kazuha buffing and elemental damage and debuffing opponent's resistance, Escoffier healing, also debuffing opponent's resistance and dealing of field damage, and lastly Furina buffing all performances and dealing extra damage. This is a more controversial team for MUALANI, so I suggest playing her like this only if you have these characters, Escoffier and Furina more specifically. As always, these were just examples. You can use MUALANI with a few other characters I didn't mention, like Ashina or Deya for example. And that's all you needed to know about MUALANI. I hope this video can be useful to you. Let me know in the comments your final thoughts for Hardware Surfer. I remind you to subscribe to the channel, to join my Discord server, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!